Daddy's talking to himself again.
In this video, I'm going to be using my brand new steady rest to make something out of this big yew log. I start off by mounting this heavy log between centres, bringing up the tailstock, and I'm using a spur drive on the headstock. And after a bit of fiddling about, I get it quite well balanced. Now I'm using a bowl gouge here. I know it's a spindle turning project, but you can use bowl gouges on spindles if in the right circumstances. But you can't use a spindle gouge on a bowl. Just using an Easy Rougher there just to create a tenon. Just sawing that off. Putting the chuck on. And tenon fits in there perfectly. Tightening that up. Got the tailstock up still. The reason I'm using this bowl gouge, and it's a 1/2 inch bowl gouge, is that this is a hefty piece of wood. There's quite an overhang from the tool rest, and I'm using this 1/2 inch bowl gouge because it can take the knocks and you don't get chatter. I'm just working in towards the middle, so I'm going downhill grain wise all the while. You don't get tear out then. You could use a spindle roughing gouge, but it would put a lot of stress on it. They can break, so I'm using this, as I say, bowl gouge. Making sure we're always going downhill, so you haven't got any unsupported grain. I'm using my longest tool rest here. I couldn't do all this in one go, so I wrapped it up in this shrink wrap overnight, just to stop it cracking with any change in moisture. Then I'm back at it and getting it to roughly the shape that I want. Still using a bowl gouge at the moment. I've moved the tool rest in now, just so I can get close to the workpiece. You can see that beautiful grain appearing now. Now I've removed the bulk of the wood, I'm switching over to a 1/2 inch spindle gouge here. It's got a slightly better angle for getting in around this curve here. Get a much nicer result. You can maintain the bevel without losing your cut. I'm trimming up the base here as well. Trying to get a nice smooth curve. Just a very gentle curve. I'm very happy with that. Got some nice shiny cuts. A little bit of sanding, didn't need much, just to get rid of a few tool marks. And then it's on with my homemade steady rest. And that trundled round nicely. Very pleased with that. Using the tailstock here in my Jacob's chuck just to drill out the centre a little bit with an auger bit. There's another view of the steady rest in action. And I'm beginning to hollow using the Hope Pro hollower. I left the tailstock supporting it for as much as possible, particularly while doing these top wings. But I needn't have bothered. The steady rest was fantastic. Bit of slow-mo, got a bit of slow-mo. But doing this end grain hollowing, I wasn't getting the big long ribbon shavings. But it was quite difficult doing these wings. There's a lot of knocking and bounce if you're not careful. Still got the tailstock here. Now I've removed the tailstock. And I'm doing the deeper hollowing, working from the centre to the outside because it's end grain hollowing. And then I'm drilling to depth here. Just using the tailstock, being very careful where my hand goes. Doing this deep hollowing here, I look more like I was playing snooker or billiards than wood turning. Then using a big bowl scraper just to smooth out any bumps and ridges. This little crack I'm opening up with a carving knife just to make it more of a feature. And then there was a lot of hand sanding. I didn't want to put my hand inside there with it rotating. You can end up twisting your arm off. I did an awful lot of hand sanding. Here I'm using a sort of a block that I made for bowl reversing before I had my vacuum chuck, and I'm using that as tailstock support. Just while I'm doing a bit of sanding. Doing a bit of spot sanding here, just rotating the lathe by hand. Parting off with a saw, and I've finished the base with the belt sander, and then I'm putting some finishing oil, Liberon finishing oil on here. That grain really pops. You can see my logo there. I probably should have picked an easier project for the first time I used my steady rest, but it's come out really well. Trying a few new things. I haven't done a lot of end grain hollowing really, so it's all quite a steep learning curve, but I'm really pleased with the finished result. Really pleased with that. It's hollowed down to about here, just above this knot. A nice tapered hollow, and I've managed to finish it quite well inside. It's very smooth. That's about the limit of my hollowing apparatus, so to speak. I was very pleased with that. It's very satisfying using the homemade steady rest. It worked so well. I kept the tailstock up for as much time as possible because I was worried about this piece because it was rather out of balance. But I needn't have worried. With the wing nuts torqued up, it was absolutely fine, rock solid, and I was a bit nervous taking the tailstock away, but I was able to hollow this out without any problem at all. I finished the base on the belt sander, put my logo on there. The only modification, or kind of modification, I made to the steady rest was I made one of these, and it's just a sort of a key for really torquing up these wing nuts so they don't move, because with a large heavy out of balance piece of wood it can knock these out of alignment. So with this I can really torque these up and get them really tight without hurting my fingers. But I was so pleased with how this worked. The deep hollowing was done using this beast, which is the Simon Hope Pro Hollower. Brilliant bit of kit, but I really would like to get his hollowing jig to help out. I was probably about at the limit of what I could do, safely and accurately without messing up the piece. I put a lot of work into the piece. I didn't want to ruin it. I got the log, the yew log that I made this out of, from a local tree surgeon, along with several other logs, about 4 years ago. It's not the same yew that I made the Auger bowl from, but it was sort of semi-dry. There was still quite a bit of moisture, I think, in the middle. You could smell the yew quite strong. I always think it smells a bit like pumpkin. I didn't have any chance of keeping the bark on because this was felled in the spring. I actually got the yew logs just after it had been felled, and the bark was already literally bubbling off the wood before I even put it on the lathe. and the rest of it gradually fell off. But it's still got that nice natural edge to it. It looks good, and the good thing with the U is it's got this two-tone effect. A little bit of spalting running through in places, tiny little bit. But really pleased with that on the whole. I hope you enjoyed that. I enjoyed turning it. A bit stressful at times, didn't want to mess it up. But yeah, if you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. It really helps. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do. Yeah, if you can like, share and subscribe, that'd be brilliant. Well, thank you very much to all my subscribers. And please everyone, stay safe in these difficult times. And I'll be back soon with some more videos. The turntable shot, just to give you the full 360 of the vase. Yeah, it's the first time I've done a natural edge or live edge vase, and I was very pleased with how it came out. And as I said previously, the two-tone wood you get with you, it lends itself perfectly to these sort of projects. It gives an interesting effect. Anyway, there's a few stills coming up as well, showing the steady rest and some nicer shots of the inside of the vase, showing the beautiful grain pattern. Thanks again for watching, and as I said, do stay safe, and I'll be back soon with some more videos. Thanks again.
Please like, share and subscribe. My daddy needs all the help he can get. More rubbish coming soon.